Andrews, the founder of the Somerville Beat and the co-curator of the Creative Somerville Series. Oh.
And hi, I'm Maya Sharfi. I'm a designer and researcher, and I also co-curate the series. So we started the series about, I think, 6 or so months ago because we felt like there were all kinds of interesting people, designers, creatives, entrepreneurs in the area, and we were meeting them and we wanted them to meet each other. And we wanted to sit down and have coffee or a beer and hear about their stories and kind of get past the shiny picture that you see on the outside and really look at what's behind this interesting, unique person and their contribution to the city.
Yes, and as part of that, we hope the series is a way for all of you to also meet each other, which is why we're psyched to be having it here at Aeronaut. And thank you to them for letting us host it here. And with that, I think we'll bring the man of the hour, Mike Dacey, on stage.
So just a quick introduction to Mike. Mike is a graphic designer. He runs a letterpress studio in town. He's a grad of Hampshire College and got interested in wood type and letterpress, which was a kind of long lost art at that point, and has founded not only his own studio focused on it, but also founded Fringe Union, which is based here in Union Square, and hosts over 15 other creative local businesses. So he's going to talk a little bit tonight about how he got to where he is, and a little bit about the creative economy and independent economy in Union Square. And yeah, thanks, Mike. Introduce yourself.
Hello. I'm going to hide off to the side for a minute and do a really quick run-through, brief history of how I found out about letterpress and ended up in Somerville, and bring everybody up to speed on where things are. Maya's going to ask me questions that people care about. So this is like, I run a letterpress studio here in Union Square called Repeat Press. We've been here for about 6 years. We are located in a co-working space called Fringe, as Maya mentioned, with about 15 other businesses. And I'm going to go through like I said, quick rundown of who I am, what I'm doing here. Yeah, so I grew up near Boston. Kara? Boom. Oh yeah, okay. Repeat Press, as I said. Yeah, grew up near Boston. That's me in high school. I liked building stuff and dressing questionably. I liked skateboarding, and yeah, so that high school was mostly skateboarding and kind of getting into some visual type things. Then, as Maya mentioned, I went to college. That more questionable fashion choices, but don't do drugs. I discovered kind of getting into graphic design at that point. Had gone in with an interest in photography, again, more skateboarding. This is some sweet late 90s text layout there. So was in college also, of course, since it was now the early 2000s, played in a band. Bands need stuff designed for them. I got into designing stuff and started a little side business making the little buttons that all of the bands like to have. Got into making some posters, discovered screen printing, more posters. If you're old and from Boston, you're laughing at these posters. Maybe you went to some of these shows. Ben Sisto tackled the guy at that one. Doing more like art screen printing in college on a kind of early 2000s vector. thing. But really kind of got into the wood type aesthetic of letterpress printing, and found myself in Western Mass at Hampshire College, coincidentally and very conveniently in kind of a hot zone for letterpress printing and book arts. Western Mass has a lot of folks that are doing bookbinding, paper making, typesetting, and letterpress printing. And so when I had been doing screen printing for a while and then found out about letterpress as existing and looked in my very close area, it turned out that there were a lot of folks out there doing that, and the school that I went to was quite flexible in what qualified as studies, and so I was able to work with some folks nearby instead of taking classes, and got into this letterpress thing. Again, the wood type poster aesthetic was very appealing at the time, or still is, but that's kind of what got me locked on letterpress and moving away from screen printing. This is my first, this is Repeat Press, Volume 1, in a closet at Hampshire College, basically. This press will look very familiar to Eli, who I think currently has it in his shop somewhere. Bunch of inks. This was my second press, so kind of as time went on, I started to buy more equipment, was continuing to do work for bands and friends who needed things printed, and was buying stuff, more posters. Worked at Urban Outfitters making displays for a while, which was pretty fun. Got to build some stuff. I got to make a boat. That was really cool. Moved to Somerville, put on some art shows, threw some parties, made some stuff. This is personal stuff that got into making these weird sculpture things for a while. And then Fringe happened in 2009. A bunch of folks that lived mostly around Somerville and Cambridge all needed space at the same time, whether they were doing their own artwork or starting small businesses. And this was kind of a jumping point for Repeat. This was at the point where I was able to quit my job and go full time. This is the Repeat studio before I moved in with a Photoshop printing press on it. Yeah, so bought some stuff, printed some stuff, bought more stuff, printed more stuff, got more machinery, printed more things, more machinery, hung out with a bird, printed on a pizza box, was still doing some wood type kind of stuff, but sat around by myself a lot. Eventually, the progression of what I was printing kind of moved from these posters for bands into what we call contemporary custom letterpress work. And that's really the focus of Repeat today. We do a lot of drink coasters. We work with a lot of local businesses and local designers. Drink coasters, all coasters. Menus. So we can now, rather than working with the existing type and aesthetic from old wood type, we work primarily with local designers and can take digital files, print them, honor old printing presses, get to work with lots of cool local brands like Capad. Once in a while, like I was saying, get back to the wood type. This is a little cart that I had that I was bringing around to events, printing some posters, looking haggard, doing some personal work still, which is kind of on the experimental side of things, and that's where I'm at. So you guys are all up to speed.